Hi everyone, Hirsch Sar here, reporting from Auckland. Today is the 17th of April 2024, and oh well, finally changed my shirt. Finally a different colorful one. So yeah, okay, well that's one thing. But moving on to today's topic for this talk video, basically the five main ways to make money legitimately, of course. And the way I see it, this is a list I've made on my own. The way I see it, the five main ways to make money is the first one is of course to just work at a job, earn a wage or a salary, and you make money that way. Probably the most obvious, the most common way to make money: get a job and work at it to earn the money yourself. The second way is, of course, save the money in a bank and earn interest on that. And while that may not be the highest return, at least it is virtually guaranteed. There's not really any unexpected expenses. It's not high risk, and you don't have to do anything for it. So that's the second one: put your money away in a bank and earn interest on it continually. As saying goes, nothing can beat the power of compound interest. So there's that way, the second way to make money. The third way would probably be, I would say, is to put it into something like stocks or shares, mutual funds or bonds. As we know, a share, which is basically like exactly that, a share of a company, of a business, a listed company, and you actually own that share of that business, and you get that proportion of returns. Well, I guess when the business gains in value, so do the shares. So the shares can go up and down depending on how well the business does, and therefore how much it's worth. And if you're fortunate enough, sometimes you may also get paid actual earnings on those shares, known as, of course, dividends. So that's another way you can make money, by putting it in shares, mutual funds, things like what we have here in New Zealand, like KiwiSaver, managed funds where other people manage the money for you, and you get a return based on how well it does there. And then there's bonds, which is where you actually the government borrows the money for you and pays you interest on that, and that's usually a fixed amount as well. So, that's a third way to make money. The fourth way would be, of course, to invest in property and real estate, where you buy real estate and, of course, you rent it out, and you receive the rent, but then there's also expenses to pay as well, such as interest on the mortgage, outgoing insurance, maintenance, property management fees if you have a property manager to manage the property and the tenant, and all that. And what have I missed? I think the last thing would be what are the costs? So you had mortgage interest, insurance, maintenance, property management, and I think that's just, of course, rates. I can't believe I almost forgot that one. Of course, rates. Well, basically, what we call rates here in New Zealand, which is basically the tax paid to the local government for providing, services such as, water and rubbish collection. That's the local government or the local council. So those are basically expenses, as far as I know, what you pay when you own a property. And of course, you want to have it so the rent outweighs those expenses. So you make a profit. You have a net rent, which is positive, or in other words, cash flow positive. Cash flow positive property, as some people call it. But even out of that profit or that net rent, you have to pay tax on as well. And of course, property can do very well, because not only do you get that return, usually over, maybe not always year by year, but certainly over time, the property will gain value, and that's known as a capital gain. So you can get that as well. And of course, there's many other ways you can do property. You can buy property, do it up, on sell it for a profit. You can buy property, develop it further, put another building in the back, and then subdivide, or rent out both units, the original house and the building in the back. There's many ways you can do property as well. So, that also goes down that path. So that's the fourth way to make money, the way I see it. And the fifth way is, of course, starting your own business. And starting your own business, of course, you'll have initial costs and all that, just starting it up. And I guess some people probably call it the most risky way to make money, because, as we've all heard, over 90% of small businesses, fail in their first year. And most people, when they start a business, it is small. But again, if you're a sort of person who's innovative, you believe you have a great idea, you believe that not only do you have a great idea, but you can make that idea, you know, um, economical. You can make the idea economical, so you can produce the product on a mass scale and at a cost which is below what you'll sell it for. And what you sell it for is at a price that people will actually buy it for, want to buy it for, based on whatever that product does for them. And it's amazing. Costs can be very high, say if you're producing something like cars, yeah, or making houses. But then again, they can be extremely low. Say if you're selling online files, such as music or ebooks, things like that, or programs, downloads, anything like that. And of course, that's becoming more and more common these days. So really, starting a business, I think the world is really your oyster. I wouldn't get dampened down. I wouldn't get discouraged or let anything dampen your spirits, because there's just so much potential in it, just depending of course on the idea you have and how you believe you can make it marketable, economical, profitable, and again, just even how you do it, the costs, if you like, or how you run the business, if you even need, say, a premises or an office, or perhaps just by the nature of your business, like if it is, say, music that you produce by yourself or files that you create and sell online, perhaps you don't need anything. All you need is just yourself and your computer and an internet connection. In other words, costs can actually be very, very low, and you might be able to sell the products for a very high price. So things can actually work out. So, starting your own business, um, it's very broad. You can start something big with, a huge office and a battalion of people, staff to pay, and all the overheads that go with running that office. Or it could just be you and your computer and your mobile phone and that internet connection. And of course, you could lose a lot of money, even if it's just you, or you can make a lot of money. And the same goes for if you're running a huge outlet. You can lose a lot of money there, of course, with all the costs. But then again, you can still make a lot of money, even if the costs are high. Again, depending on the nature of the product and how you market it. And as I say, marketing is everything, and it's very interesting, isn't it? Just on that note, a lot of the products we buy, and sometimes when we look at them more closely or study the companies that produce them more closely, we find that it's not actually the products that are so great. It's just the job that those companies have done with marketing those products, marketing them so successfully that so many people buy them or just have to have them, and they've also managed to dramatically cut down on the costs of producing them just based on how they produce them, how they source them, how they run their businesses, the staff that they employ, how they pay those staff, all the systems they have, even things as subtle as organization of things, administration, tax, accounting. It's amazing how things as sort of subtle and sort of really in the background as those things can make a huge difference in the end to, if you like, the bottom line. So yeah, going back over it, the way I see it, the five main ways to make money legitimately today is, yeah, you can work at a job. Firstly, two, you can save money in a bank. Three, you can put it in, shares, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Four, you can invest it in real estate. Five, you can start and run your own business. And again, I wouldn't say that any of those ways is really better than the other. All of those ways have their advantages and disadvantages, and whichever way you pick to make money or to earn your living, it really just depends on you. It's just like whatever job you want to do, or where you want to live, or whether you want to be single or married or how many kids you want to have. But there's really no right or wrong answer. It just depends on you. I think about like what you do after school. When you finish school, do you go to university, do a degree? Do you have a gap year? Do you go on an OE, travel abroad? Do you start your own business? Or do you just want to get a job straight out of school? I mean, again, no right or wrong answer. People have done all sorts of things, and some of them have done well and some of them have not done well. It's just sometimes it's not actually what you do, it's how you do it, isn't it? And coming back to the list of the five things, first, working at a job. People can do very well working at a job. They can really work their way up. And the good thing with the job is that, hey, it's 9 to 5 and it's done. Whereas, say, at a business, you may always be on call. And as I say, sometimes when you have a business, you get attached to it. But then again, you're your own boss, and you can make a lot of money. Something like in property, it may have its risks and expenses, and you may need a fair bit to start off with. Think about the deposit you have to pay when you buy just the first property. Even if it's a small property, the deposit is still likely to be in the tens of thousands of dollars. Um, so it may take a bit to start off with. Then again, you may be able to borrow on an asset you already have, maybe even an asset of a family member who lets you borrow on it. Um, and you don't have to even come up with a deposit yourself, But again, with property, a bit like running a business, you can be your own boss, and you can do very well on that, and you can make passive income that you don't have to actually physically work for, and capital gain on the properties. Um, Again, with shares, bonds, mutual funds, you can just put your money away and you can just leave it there, and you don't have to do anything, and it works for you as long as you've picked the right shares to invest in, and bonds and mutual funds, or you manage it properly. Then again, you can get hooked to it, constantly looking at the shares going up and down, and trading them here and then. Some people do get hooked on it, and they do spend a lot of time on it. They may make money, but they put so much time and effort onto it, and they just never stop. So again, you want to weigh things up there. And then again, saving money in the bank, yes, it might not be the best return, but hey, you put the money in the bank, you don't have to do anything. Just leave it there. It'll keep generating return. Might not be the highest, but it's guaranteed. Inflation might eat into it, but still, that return is guaranteed. And you really can make it work for you, I guess, if you have a larger amount of money to put in the bank. So yeah, there you have it, sort of five main ways to make money legitimately in today's world, and chances are you'll be in one of them, perhaps in more than one. Again, it depends on you, it depends on the person. They all have their ups and downs, and what you choose at the end of the day is what you want, what suits you the most, and what gives you the lifestyle that you want. And whether you choose one or a combination of them, it's completely up to you. But just remember, no right or wrong answer. It all comes down to what you really like and what suits you. Sorry, what suits you the best. Thank you.